Good morning. I'm Peggy Kelly, and this is Good Morning Santa Paula. I'm here today. It's Wednesday, September 2nd, with Dr. Ed Cora, who's the superintendent of the Santa Paula Unified School District, which is the largest school district in our area. And we've got a lot of chatting to do today about various issues. Good morning. How are you today, Ed?
Good, Peggy. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share information.
Absolutely. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us also. Now, I know that your district had its first case of COVID-19. Could you explain what happened there and also what your safeguards are going to be in the future too? I know on the campus, like you had said earlier, you've got a lot of safeguards. You can't control people though that are outside and come in. So anyway, starting with that premise.
Thanks, Peggy. First of all, we cannot share who the individual is, but we did put out a press release and we sent information to our staff and posted something on our website and social media. So we had an employee test positive, and I found out first thing Monday morning as I was coming into my office. And so from there, we have our safety manager and our district nurse, and their job is to immediately go out to the site and start interviewing folks and start the contact tracing. And that's why one of the things that we've been doing here since the summertime, all of us are staying at our own sites and departments. As much as I love going out to the school sites and checking in with the principals and seeing what's going on, I've not visited any of our sites. I've stayed here in the district office. Yes. As a matter of fact, even to the point where behind our district office is our business department. They're two separate buildings. Mm-hmm. I've asked business department folks to stay out of the district office and district office employees to stay out of the business department. All school site employees are supposed to stay at their own sites. The only people that move around are our maintenance and operations because they've got to go to the different sites to do the work, and our technology experts that have to go and take care of technology. That's it. Everyone else is staying at their sites. So back to the site, our safety manager and district nurse went to the site, started interviewing, and got it down to just a handful of people. And this gives me a good opportunity, Peggy, I'm going to cover my face here a little bit, but we have a COVID case flow chart.
Oh, okay, that's pretty interesting.
It's positive, probable, close, and other. And it gives ideas, and then it gets down to what to do under each of the different colors. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so we had some individuals who had close contact with that positive individual, and all others fell under other persons. So we followed the flow chart, and we're just doing and all of this comes from the Ventura County Public Health Department, the guidelines.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting, just as an aside, that, the district has such a talented and skilled safety. What is Jeff Argen's actual title? He's the
safety manager.
District safety manager. Mm-hmm. And to think that normally they would be dealing with disasters and emergencies that certainly were never connected with a pandemic. And what a great job a lot of these people did adapting to something that it never really crossed their mind they would. So, bravo to that portion of what's going on. So, and he's very talented. Yeah.
If I can, Peggy, I was going to have him on with me today because I thought this was very appropriate for him to present. Mm-hmm. But he told me that right now at 1 o'clock, he had a meeting with the Ventura County Schools Self-Funding Authority. And he meets with other safety managers from other districts, and they talk about these things, and they keep getting updated. This flow chart actually up here in the top right-hand corner has a date because it's changed since the last time we had this.
Oh, okay.
So as Mr. Argent goes to these meetings, he gets updated, he brings his stuff back. And again, we've said this before, things continually change as we move along, and we've got to keep up with the changes.
Absolutely. Now, also, let's talk about the famed digital divide. So, that's so important in the long distance learning and everything. Or the distance learning, or whatever the correct terminology is. Is it long distance learning or just distance learning?
Distance learning. Distance learning.
Thank you. But anyway, so tell me what's going on with that at this point. I know you'd mentioned something about more hotspots, more Chromebooks. Let's hear about it. That's great news.
So during the summertime, our Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, Christine Shefferly, found out that the California Department of Education was providing some grants, the Digital Divide. As a matter of fact, Digital Divide Support Grant is what it's actually called. So we received 1,500 hotspots from courtesy of T-Mobile, and we received 1,084 Lenovo Chromebooks courtesy of Office Depot.
Boy, that's wonderful.
All of the Chromebooks are gone. They've been distributed, as well as most of the laptops that we have from our school sites. So we just deployed, and that started back in March of last year, not
Right.
last year, last school year, I should say.
Yeah, last school year, yes.
And so all of those are deployed for, again, the purpose of providing students the opportunity to have technology at their hands in their home and to provide them some access to Wi-Fi. So it's been a great, I want to say it's been a great opportunity that the state has given us, California Department of Education, to provide our kids with what they need.
Oh, absolutely. And it's so important. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, it's unbelievable. And you certainly can't. Now, I know that I see online and I hear on occasion that people are having issues with Chromebooks or with their child's doing their homework. You've got some sort of a help desk set up, don't you? Let's hear
Yes,
about
we do.
the help desk.
And let me say before I get to the help desk that we all know technology, you love it when it's working and you don't love it when it's not working. Sometimes that happens. And I know there's been times when Zoom is frozen. Give you an example. I had a cabinet meeting this morning and my 5 other cabinet members plus myself were on Zoom together and it froze a couple different times. So you hope it works, but when it doesn't, we do have a help desk and I'll give our audience the phone number. It's 805 933-8980, and that's from 8 a.m. to noon, and then they come back on from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And they're available to answer questions regarding the hotspots, regarding the laptops, just technology in general. So we're trying to do everything that we can to help make sure that students have the technology and it's working that's needed. Even though bottom line is you've heard me say this before, I would love to have them back and have them in classrooms.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's Monday through Friday that help is available.
Thank you. And that's any school day that we're open. And you gave me an idea earlier just to look outside the box, think outside the box. So I'm going to think about and discuss some of the things you talked about earlier offline.
Sure, absolutely. And also a student can call themselves, excuse me, or a parent can call. And so that's just great because
Absolutely.
Then that way, and you'll have to really encourage the students to call because it's good for them to work with that and figure that stuff out. Plus the fact they're a lot better than the parents very often, you know. But don't tell them I said that.
No.
Now, you also were discussing earlier that you have some sort of a flow chart with the that you all are working with now. Now, could you tell me a little more of that? That wasn't what you were
saying. So that's what I was showing you before. Yeah. But again, it talks about if we come across
very interesting.
A positive COVID case, a probable case, a close contact, and all others.
Okay.
And then again, the arrow shows if there's a probable case and I come close to somebody with a probable case, what to do. And this is again with our safety manager and our district nurse. This is what they're following. And this was not created by us. It was created by the Ventura County Public Health Department. I don't know if they actually did the graphic, but the information comes from them. And as I said, the data is up in the top right-hand corner because as it changes, we have to change this flow chart. And this is what Mr. Arjun and Ms. Hall on Monday morning, this is what they followed. They went to the school site, they started asking questions, they found out that we pretty much have probable case, one positive case, and from that, what about the other folks that work there?
Yes.
So,
and then of course you had to do the cleaning and all that other stuff of the area that they, touch points in the area where they were actually assigned and all that. That's quite a job right there.
Exactly.
You had staff come in and do that. They're all trained to do that now.
Yep. And let me go back to say what I said earlier, Peggy, about working in our own sites. So let's just say I came down with COVID-19 and I've only been in the district office. That way the contact tracing doesn't have to go out to the business department. It doesn't have to go out to the high school, any of the other schools. They just have to interview the people here at the district office.
Right.
That's what, and some people were having a little bit of a hard time with that. I was like, well, I need to go. I said, no, we have Zoom, we have emails, we have phones we can use. Stay in our own areas, and that will help track if the cases come to us, where we have to interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a real challenge, and it's, you know, it's a challenge for the school districts, and they're responsible for the children and their education and their well-being and their mental and emotional well-being. So it's a lot going on right now. Now, and you're continuing the food program.
Yes, we are
Meals
continuing.
program.
Now, Blanchard School is one of the sites where we had some meals coming out of. So for the next couple of weeks, we're having those meals. Anybody who's picking them up at Blanchard can go pick them up at Glen City, the high school, Isbell, or Barbara Webster. Those are the other four sites that we can go pick them up at.
Sure, great. So that's going well. And I know everybody's really trying. I know the Boys and Girls Clubs has a bunch of activities that, and do you work at all? Does the district work at all with the Boys and Girls Club to help publicize their activities for kids?
We were trying to work something out, and it didn't quite work out, but we are still looking for some partnerships for, we have a few handful of students who either live outside of the Santa Paula, well, they're within our boundaries, but it's outside kind of the city limits where they're having trouble with getting some Wi-Fi. So we're trying to work with some of those families to see where can we get them to go during the hours of 8 and 12:30 during their instruction time to get that Wi-Fi access, because I don't even think the hotspots work out in some places.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, well, you know, you can't have a television with an antenna in Santa Paula, because we're surrounded by mountains, and you know, and you can't wear a tinfoil hat and pick up anything either. You know, I mean, it's that mountains, you know. So there you go.
I guess they call them dead zones. There's some dead zones.
Dead zones. You know? Well, yeah, and they are. You know, you can't get anything. All right. Anything you want to add? Anything I should have asked you that you would like to discuss?
Not so much discuss. I just want to say very quickly, you know, this is a lot. Teaching distantly for teachers, it is a lot harder. And so I want to give a lot of kudos to our teachers, Santa Paula and everywhere else, where they are trying to teach children on a screen. And it is not easy. When I spoke to principals last week about how are things going, they said the technology is going better than they thought. However, it's nonstop, constant, whether it's phone calls coming in or, you know, it's just things that we have to deal with, where normally when students and staff are on site, you can take care of those. So kudos to our certificated employees, kudos to our classified employees, kudos to our administration for just dealing with this the best they can. And even though we want our students back, Peggy, I have to remember that safety comes first. And I know the county has offered public and private schools the opportunity to file for waivers to open up ahead of time. I told our board as a superintendent, I don't recommend that at this time. You know, it is still, I will wait for the county to get off of the state monitoring list, and we will then work with our unions, our teacher union, our classified union, and work together as a team to determine the safest way to open up our schools again.
I think actually there's only a few perhaps private schools that have opened up that applied for waivers. And I did Ventura County under the superintendent's office, the Ventura County Superintendent of Schools, did they all decide to wait it out and take the safe road?
We're all on our own, I'm going to call it islands. For the most part, most districts are waiting. But some have said they're considering it. The smaller districts, I think you quoted me in your story in the paper.
Yes.
A smaller district, I'm going to say a very small district. It's much easier for them to open than the larger districts. And we're average, even though we're the largest in Santa Paula. We're average in the county. There's some that are a lot bigger than us, and some that are a lot smaller. But the smaller you are, the easier it is to reopen.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, and it does make sense that it is.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Ed, a pleasure as always talking to you, and thank you so much for letting everybody know what's happening at the school district, and we'll continue to stay in touch and have these visits. And once again, I'm Peggy Kelly, and this is Good Morning Santa Paula. We want to thank Dr. Ed Cora, the superintendent of the Santa Paula Unified School District, which has about 5,500 students, I think. So that sounds very big to me. And you can watch this on kabytv.net. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. It doesn't cost anything, and it helps us to bring this. more broadcasting to you. And also this is on cable channel, Spectrum Channel 10, City of Santa Paula's government channel, and just anywhere where the you things, that's where we'll be. But anyway, you take care. Don't forget this Labor Day weekend. Don't gather. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Peggy.